everyone, and welcome back to Hoopers Nation, your top destination for NBA basketball content. On August 20th, the picking order for the NBA draft was finally revealed after the original date for the NBA lottery was pushed back from its initial date in May. This lottery was a particularly important event for most franchises, given how weak this year's class is considered to be compared to previous seasons. The Golden State Warriors finished with an ugly 15-50 record, by far the worst in the NBA, which granted them the highest odds at the number one pick this year. But so did the Cleveland Cavaliers and Minnesota Timberwolves, who finished with the second and third worst records in the league respectively, and had the exact same odds at the number one pick as Golden State per recent rule changes to the lottery odds that were made in an effort to dissuade teams from tanking or stop being competitive at later stages of the regular season to earn better odds at a top pick. Surprisingly, the Timberwolves ended up winning the lottery and walking away in possession of their third first overall selection in the last 6 seasons. Or perhaps not so surprisingly. In this video, we'll take a look at the real reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves won the NBA lottery and the history behind some of the biggest NBA draft lottery conspiracy theories. But before we do, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more NBA content. For many years now, we've heard all sorts of conspiracy theories about how the NBA lottery is rigged by the league office in hopes of favoring some teams more than others each season. Perhaps the most infamous of them all is the very first time in which conspiracy rumors about a rigged lottery generated true buzz, the 1985 lottery. Patrick Ewing had a dominant college career and was, far and away, the consensus number one pick in the 1985 NBA draft. As it turns out, the New York Knicks desperately needed a good center, and the NBA desperately needed New York, the team that played at the Mecca of Basketball and in one of the league's biggest markets, to start playing competitive basketball once again. According to the story, then NBA Commissioner David Stern was well aware of this problem, and apparently had the Knicks winning envelope differentiated in some sort of way so he could identify it and grab it to reveal the Knicks as the lottery winners. Some people claim the corner of the envelope with the New York Knicks logo was slightly bent, and that's how Stern knew it was the one. While others say the Knicks envelope was dripped into dry ice before the lottery so it would be distinctly colder than the rest of the envelopes. This was the first moment the conversation about the lottery being fixed and fraudulent started. Ever since then, the league's process for selecting the order of teams has drastically changed throughout the years, as more and more conspiracy theories arose as time passed by. Not only has the process itself changed, but also the way their drawing odds work. This was all done as a way of proving there are no rigged steps in the selection order process. Today, the drawing order of the process happens in a guarded room where only some league office members, team representatives, and a small group of members from the media are allowed in. However, nobody is allowed to record anything of what happens inside or divulge the lottery results before they're officially announced on live TV. They even collect cell phones and any electronic devices from everybody inside that lottery room to ensure no evidence is spilled before time. Still, the whole process is recorded and later published online for everybody to watch. There are also league attorneys and technology specialists inside the room to ensure every step is controversy-free and the whole process flows properly. The old envelope system has long been dropped and instead replaced today with a machine that draws ping pong balls that have numbers, all of which are weighted and double-checked by the machine specialists and approved by the NBA's legal team to make sure every ball has the exact same chance of dropping at any given time. Depending on the team's odds, each franchise is assigned number combinations found between 1 and 1,000, and the combinations that pop up from the machine's draw determine the order in the NBA draft. The league has put in a magnificent effort in improving their selection process and odds every year to provide the utmost confidence in the procedure. But this hasn't stopped the basketball community to wonder about many more suspicious cases of a particular team landing the number one pick. After the 1985 Knicks mess, there was speculation that the league awarded the Orlando Magic, their newest expansion team, back-to-back number one picks in '92 and '93 to give them some extra help after sucking in the first couple of seasons. Then it returned back in 2003 when the Cleveland Cavaliers landed the first pick and drafted hometown high school sensation LeBron James. Then again when the Cavs won the number one pick in 2011. Some called it Cleveland's consolation prize from the league for James's departure to South Beach and free agency the year prior. 2008 was one of the strongest years for conspiracy theories as well, when the Bulls had only a 1.7% chance at landing that year's number one pick, and somehow got it, which they used to draft yet another hometown hero in Derrick Rose. Then, in 2012, the then New Orleans Hornets, who a year later become the Pelicans under new ownership, won the number one pick at the exact time the league owned the franchise, and the team was still for sale. The Pelicans once again raised conspiracy concerns last year, when they were supposedly given the number one pick as a consolation prize for the Anthony Davis scandal they suffered from throughout the whole season. Not only that, but also the Los Angeles Lakers, the team Davis wanted to be traded to, got the number 4 pick, despite only having 2.8% odds at getting it, raising more concerns on whether the league was giving LA an asset to include in the Davis deal. So why would more conspiracy rumors about the lottery being rigged pop up despite the NBA's admirable efforts at having a process as clean and transparent as possible? Well, when you think about it, the coronavirus pandemic this year caused some major changes in the league's lottery procedures. For starters, only around 50 people were actively involved and allowed in the drawing room this year, compared to the 400-plus individuals between team representatives, media members, league attorneys, and others that are normally present at the time the lottery occurs. With many less people involved in the process, wouldn't it be easier to manipulate the process without anybody finding out in a very, very long time? But why would the NBA want to rig this year's lottery when the player pool is weaker than in other years, and apparently no one team has a case at needing a hand from the league office? This was actually supposed to be a case of the rest of the league, and not one team needing a hand, as the NBA sure didn't want to go back to the Warriors' monopoly it was under for the last 5 years. The Warriors were strong enough already when the team first rose to championship status in 2015, but when Kevin Durant joined the franchise in 2017, it made them the most stacked team in history and virtually unbeatable. Only multiple injuries were able to put an end to their dominance. Even after KD's departure, injuries once again hampered Golden State this year, as Stephen Curry missed all but 5 games of the 2020 season with a hand injury, and Klay Thompson was still recovering from a torn ACL. This left Draymond Green and D'Angelo Russell, who was later traded for Andrew Wiggins at the deadline, with a bunch of young and mostly unexperienced players in what turned out to be the Warriors' worst season in almost 20 years. This is how Golden State earned a 14% chance at the #1 pick, and a guaranteed top 5 selection. The Warriors' weak link in their starting lineup has always been the starting center position. Multiple players from an aging Andrew Bogut to Zaza Pachulia and JaVale McGee have played as their traditional big man. But it's fair to say that neither of them was near or at the level of their 4 all-star starting lineup teammates. This year, the most logical target for the Warriors is James Wiseman. But can you imagine a lineup featuring Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and top NBA draft prospect James Wiseman? We had such a fun and competitive regular season this year with the Warriors out of the championship picture that giving them such a good young player would be a major risk at Golden State destroying everybody on their way to another NBA final soon enough. Well, it turns out this could be a likely scenario going into next season, as the Warriors drew the 2nd overall pick, and the Timberwolves won the lottery. Chances are Wiseman will still be on the board after the Wolves pick, as Karl Anthony Towns is Minnesota's clear-cut best player, and the team doesn't need another center. But what's the real reason the Wolves won the lottery? Well, in case you've forgotten, the Minnesota Timberwolves went up for sale over a month ago. Team owner Glenn Taylor put both the Minnesota Timberwolves and the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx for sale, with multiple groups already showing deep interest in acquiring the franchise. Taylor has owned the Wolves for 25 years, and his franchise, according to Forbes, is worth $1.38 billion. Why not give potential buyers an even better incentive to make a deal now? The situation is very similar to the New Orleans Hornets case in 2012, with the big difference being the Wolves are still a privately owned team, while the Hornets were owned and controlled by the league at the time. And for a T-Wolves team that has made the playoffs only once in the last 15 seasons, the league sure has to have some interest in injecting new life into a franchise that has only enjoyed minor, short-lasting success for a very long time now, and has one of the brightest young cores in the league, led by Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, that will now feature another #1 pick. Do you believe this is the reason the Wolves won the 2020 NBA lottery? Do you think some of the NBA's conspiracy theories about a rigged lottery are true? Or did the lottery-winning teams just get lucky? Make sure to comment your thoughts down below, as well as leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.